Right, Timo, you and I are live today on YouTube in terms of talking about our fantastic new cat course that we've got, haven't we? Home prepared food for your cats and why that's so important. So thanks for joining me this morning. Can you tell me why this is so important that we've been doing these courses together?
Well, your cats, your dogs, your horses' life depends on you and how you feed them and how you can make their life or you can break their life through the way you are feeding them. Let they live with you. And as you know from your last night's experience, it makes a big difference um, if you do for your animal whatever it takes to make them live the best life they can live with you. Of course, I understand it's important to have convenience, it's important to have your own life going. But once you adopt a pet or adopt an animal as a companion, whatever you do to them has a direct impact on their life. But tell me about your last night.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with a few people. It's quite emotional, so I might get a bit emotional. Last night, my best friends lost one of their horses, and these people are the best animal parents that I absolutely know. And they've done everything they can for this horse. And times like this are absolutely tragic, and every pet owner, animal owner's worst nightmare. But when you know from your heart that you've literally done everything you can and you've empowered yourself with the knowledge to look after your animals in the best possible way to keep them healthy and vibrant and living the happiest life, at least you have that peace of mind that there's nothing else you could do. So I was with my friends last night when they had to say goodbye to one of their very, very beloved horses, and it was absolutely tragic, but they had the comfort of knowing that they'd been feeding it the best food, they'd been looking after it in the best way, and they'd done absolutely everything they can. And unfortunately, Timo and I, in our work, we deal with a lot of people who have animals, and it's heartbreaking when you look back in hindsight and think, I wish I'd done this, I'd wish I'd done that. So it's a very sad day for me and my friends. But why we wanted to, continue with this live today is because when you empower yourself with knowledge, to do the best you can for the animals that are in your care, then it gives you great peace of mind. And we all want our animals to have a long, happy, and vibrant life. And therefore, making sure that we know that we're making the right decisions for them. And Timo, one of the reasons we found about this course is a lot of people don't pay as much attention to cats, do they, as other animals?
Oh yeah, we just say cats are picky or cats are this, cats are like spoiled, cats this, cats that, but we we don't really want to understand why cat is doing what it's doing. So it's we just accept, okay, that's their character or that's their just they're just picky. But actually cats have very specific needs.
Mhm.
And if these needs are not fulfilled, they feel like why bother? So most of the food we just offer them is not just wrong texture, taste, or anything, but it doesn't fill their needs at all. We fill them with things that they don't want or need. And cats are a bit more self-aware than dogs or other gobblers.
Yeah.
Cats are more cats are more they are more gourmets, so to speak. And they want to eat what they feel like it's good for them. Sometimes right, sometimes wrong, but their feeling, their intuition is mostly more on the right side than on the wrong side.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've been sort of in a society where most of us are told that, there's some really healthy options on the shelf of the pet store. And these normally take the form of kibbles or canned foods or pouches, etc. And what you're going to see if you go through this course is they are filled with ingredients that are not only not providing your cat with a lot of nutrition, but actually can be very harmful, can't they, Timo?
Yeah, because that's the curse of food manufacturing. So there are rules, there are laws, and there are financial constraints, and there are some manufacturing obstacles. So when you put them all together, there are ways to do the best food you can, but it can never, ever match what you can do yourself, because you are not constrained of all cleaning up everything all the time, disinfecting everything all the time, make sure you have the same lab check all the time. Everything costs money, time. You don't, it's like the way you can produce the food is just so more convenient on the long run, because you have to go to the vet less. You have to pay less money for all the checkups and all the disadvantages coming from feeding kibble and whatnot. And of course, you can still feed kibble. You can mix the different types of foods. But be honest, when you do it yourself, you know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing and that you know it's right, that's the best way to do.
Yeah, it's so important. And we've got a comment here from Meow Scott, lovely name on there. Yeah, that people, unfortunately, people do learn the hard way. And we mustn't beat ourselves up as pet parents, because we're told often by vets, by feed companies, by loads of really convincing advertising that, you can feed this to your cat every day and it would be healthy. But unfortunately, it's just not the case. And what I love about this course is we explain in so much detail as we go through the physiology and why, because when you understand why something's not good, it really hits home and it helps you to make the right decision. And as Meow Scott said, a lot of people learn the hard way with huge vet bills, a real cost to their cat's sort of health and happiness by listening to the wrong people. So it's really, really sad, but all we can do is learn and change. And one thing I would like to say is it's never too late to change, because I've got 5 rescue cats with a huge range of age. All have come to me in very, very poor condition, with sort of existing, problems. And I've managed to transition them all. We'll talk about transitioning in a minute. So it's really, really so important, and it's never too late to change, is it, Timo, regardless of how old your cat is?
That is correct. And don't worry. If you start now, not important how old your cat is or how long it was abused before in somewhere you don't know. Change it now. It's always positive. And don't forget, this might be a really, really, for some people, inappropriate example. But people who survived the Holocaust kept living, changed their life, and most of them lived a healthier and fulfilling life afterwards. I know it's very painful, but it's a good example to show when you change, not important how bad it was before. If you change it, you go always to the better place. Always. You have always improvement.
Yeah, and a really good point here by Ethereal Wings, who had a kitten diagnosed at 6 months with kidney disease, which is devastating. But he's done the research, he or she, I don't know, Ethereal Wings, with your dog, done the research yourself, food, supplements, healing devices. And it's amazing what you can turn around. And the difference that you see in all aspects of your cat health is absolutely amazing. So let me just share the screen with you. Timo, you can tell me whether this works with the screen, and we'll show you what's in the cost. Is that showing all right, Timo?
Yes. Yes.
So what we've got, it's online, which means you get unlimited access. And anytime we add any updates, you get those as well. So once you've enrolled in this, you get it for the lifetime of your course. And we've got various different modules here. As with the dog course, we've got a downloadable PDF with a downloadable version of all the recipes. So you can print those off if you want to have those in your kitchen to remind yourself, etc. And then we have got divided into 4 sections. We've got a complete video for those of you that want to watch the course from start to finish. And then we have also broken it down into little sections, and you can see how long they go. The longest one is nutrition, because we go into a lot of detail about the macronutrients, the micronutrients, your cat's physiology, and why they can and can't eat certain things. Anything you want to add to that, Timo?
Yeah, so what we try to do here is to give you the complete picture without bloating with energy. So, with the information that you don't need. So we try to keep it everything in a line that it makes sense for you when you listen to it. But if you have further questions, you can always write here or just add some comments and we come back to you. And this course is made for absolute, I mean, foolproof. You get in, you learn, and you'll be able to prepare your cat food perfectly. No problems there.
Yeah, that's what I like. So I actually went through this course with my husband, and he was completely blown away, because he said, look, it's so clear. I understand now exactly what I can and can't do. And it's really simple to put it together. And we also cover in the modules about tips about how to transition your cat. And Timo and I are always here to give advice as well. You can ask any questions about your cats here as well if you want. And we'll be doing more videos on cats as well, because they are the love of my life. But it's really important. We don't just cover what to feed, but also some tips on how to feed. So if you've got multi-pet households, the positioning of the food is very important for cats as well. So we go into a lot of detail that will really, really help. And some of it, we've had so many cat parents that have just even just by changing where they feed their cat has suddenly made them much more confident to try new food, etc. So this is really lovely where we've got here, I'm in Georgia, 7 cats, 2 of them are 22 years old. That is absolutely fantastic.
I think this course is not for you. You figured it out already. So,
Yeah, I'm so sorry that you lost a cat. It does affect you as much as losing a relative. And, when you've done everything that you can, hey, you guys, funny name, funny picture. But, when you've really done such a good job and you've really put everything into it, at least it gives that blessing to yourself that you've done everything you can. So well done you. 22 years old is a fantastic age, and you're obviously doing a lot of right things there. And this is an example to everyone about how much you actually can do. So lots of different things here. Just trying to sort of show some of the comments. So please do ask any questions you've got here. We know this is going to make a big difference to people. A lot of people have fed their cats sort of kibble or the same pouches the whole time, haven't they, Timo? Which can cause a lot of issues, but we've never had a cat yet that we haven't managed to transition.
that's correct. That's correct. And it's cats know what they need. Once they're adjusting their intestinal bacterial flora, then they exactly know what they need. So they have the right feeling for it. And you can see here, both of our 12-year-old Basset Hound and 4-year-old cat eat raw pure meat. They like it more than the dry goods. Of course, everybody likes it more than the dry goods. And I was told cats need taurine in their diet. Yeah, taurine is a super important topic, and we covered it really in detail. I
Yeah.
think we didn't leave anything open about it, because although I try to keep the course as flat as possible, not too deep, not too shallow, um, taurine is something that we really had to go deep inside, and we did it, and I'm very happy about it. And if you, after you checking the course, if you have more questions, just shoot. I'm happy to answer it.
Yeah. Now, that's a really good point. One of the good things as you go through our courses, so all the courses on the Catherine Edwards Academy here, you can see scrolling along the bottom, the website that the courses is on is catherineedwardsacademy.com. And one of the beauties of the courses is you can post comments, and Timo and I will answer them as you go through. So if you've got any questions, we absolutely welcome that, and we always get back to people. We've got an important question here, Timo, about why kidney disease is so prevalent in cats now, because it really is.
Okay, so cats are protein eaters, and protein comes with a baggage. So every time they burn a lot of protein, they have to get rid of two things. One is the nitrogen that is in the protein, and that creates uric acid. It's very acidic. It's dangerous for their body. So the kidney has to actively get rid of it. That's why the urine pH level of cats are very low. That means it's very acidic, and that you can also smell. And second thing is that the cats are also very oxidative animals. That means they burn a lot of energy, and this creates a lot of excess phosphorus, and this phosphorus has to be excreted through urine, and that happens also through the kidneys. So therefore, if you do everything right, your cats can have their functions totally normal because their kidneys are totally adapted to it. But once you introduce high starches, pollutants, environmental pollutants, pesticides, fertilizers, um, all other things to their life, and high fat, and everything that doesn't belong to their body, the kidney also has to filter that. And once this overlaps with the already heavy work, you start to have kidney problems. So don't believe anyone who tells you the kidney problem happens because of the protein. Don't forget, lions don't die from kidney failure. So, and they eat all day, every day meat. So it's not the problem. The problem is mostly whatever you have in your household, cleaning agents. There are many things that pollute your environment that you are not aware of. But don't forget, cats are far closer to the floor. They are in contact with all the rodents, all the animals around. They eat bugs. They eat many things that come in contact with the environment that you're not aware of.
And this is a really important point, and it comes into what Scott's saying again. Now, one of the next series of courses that Timo and I are doing is for horses, cats, and dogs, a sort of general wellness, where we cover exactly that, about how you can actually look into your environment and protect your cats from what they might be getting. Because cats, unlike dogs, for example, you've got far less control over their environment. So it is really important, and absolutely the amount of poisoning that goes on with flea, tick, vaccinations, kibble, etc. is huge. So this is such important information for people to have, because we need to concentrate on what we can control for our pets, and there's a lot more that we can control than we think. So this is another important one, Timo, for us to discuss. Hang on a sec. I just wanted to do this one first. So my cats eat good food, but one of them has early stage kidney failure, so he's been put on Hill's kidney. So have you got any comments on that, Timo?
Oh, yeah. So I really don't want to, how do you say it, interfere with what your vet is saying. But the vet is possibly saying what the Hills is saying. So it's the thing is this: early stage kidney failure can not be really reverted, but you can keep the cat in a good health. What you have to do is keep the protein and its least but still needed level, and you can just add a bit of fat just to increase the amount of energy without overdoing it with the pancreas. So it's a balance, but that balance can be done by you. You don't need Hill's kidney feed or any type of canned food, because they all have to be stabilized with some sort of um, minerals, nitric acid, nitrate, nitrate, salts, and all the different things that also have a negative effect on your cat's kidney. So try to get organic, good meat. I don't know what the weight is of your cat, but try to keep as lean as possible.
Yeah, so you will find that unfortunately processed foods are never the answer for these sort of diseases, and it's easier for me to say that because I'm not a vet. Was obviously the vets, so you have to be very careful what we say. But it's never, processed food is never ever the answer for poor health.
And I want to add something very important here. I used to sell Hills, so
Yeah.
so I was there. So the only thing I can know about the Hills food is what Hills tells me. Then I keep selling it for a while. Then I see if it works or not in the cost of the life of animals that are already having kidney failure. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense for me. So That's why you have to be really careful with what you're feeding your cat with, and the vet cannot know it because he's not investing his time in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you will find this course will really, really help you and explain why the stress. We go into it a lot of detail in this course in terms of why so many cats get allergies, digestive issues, kidney issues, and how diet is a contributor of that. Of course, there are other contributors as well. So Just Me Tracy is saying he has stomach problems and can only eat chicken and fish. He has a steroid injection every few months. Yes, there's lots of suggestions in this course of what we can give them. Do you want to add anything to that, Timo?
Yeah, first, I am of course not a fan of steroid injections. The reason for that is it's not just reducing the body's chance of reacting to inflammation, but it also masks so many other things that at the end comes as a bigger bill. So, and I'm just not talking about money. I'm talking about physical bill, so health bill. And of course, 14 years is already an advanced age for having these problems. Only chicken and fish is not a bad thing. Only is overstated for cats. Cats are really limited in their uh, eating possibilities anyway. So if you keep the chicken at the 80% and fish at the 20% in total protein spectrum, then you are going to be fine. If you add some blueberries and some other things that we have listed on the ingredients list, you'll be doing fine. The cats don't need too many different things. But don't forget, if you say chicken, we also think that chicken meat, chicken leg, chicken breast, chicken heart, chicken liver, and not just chicken breast, right? Because this is the least nutritious part of the muscle of the chicken. So you have to also feed liver to cover all the vitamins and minerals.
This is really, really important because it's one of the main areas of misunderstanding I find. So we've got a comment down here from, so we've got one, we'll come on to the canned fish in a minute, but frozen food, would this be good for a young cat? Well, it depends, because it depends what's in that frozen food. So definitely frozen raw food is normally much less processed and normally has less additives than the kibble or the canned food. However, we're seeing a lot of the raw frozen foods on the market that have far too high fat levels. It depends on the quality of meat they've used. It depends on the other ingredients. It depends whether they've added synthetic vitamins and minerals. So this is a really important thing for people to realize. Just because you're feeding raw doesn't necessarily mean it's good, does it, Timo?
That's correct. Raw is just a form. It doesn't tell you the quality. Yeah, and you have to know that raw is a booming business. And why it makes so much money is because the cost of production compared to the cost of acquisition of the food by the customer is so big that it makes a lot of profit. So to make that profit, of course, you cannot use the best of the best ingredient, because if you do it, you cannot sell with that kind of profit. You have to think about it. So if you feed from time to time with these type of foods, all good, but try to keep the control in your hands. So
Yeah,
how about canned fish?
yeah. This is
I
an
know fresh is better. So okay, so everything is better than bad, right? So if you have something bad, everything that is not bad is already better. Canned fish. Let's talk about canned fish in two categories. Canned fish that is small fish like anchovies, and canned fish like huge carnivorous fish like tuna. So forget about tuna. It's a carnivorous fish. It's full of heavy metals. You cannot have tuna without heavy metals. It's not a good food at all. Not important if it's fresh or canned. When we go to the smaller fish like anchovy fresh is an extremely good nutrient source. But canned is it has to be oiled or it has to be watered. It's processed in a way you don't know how it's processed, and the can is not always the same healthy can we know. And I wouldn't go with it, but you can give it from time to time as a treat. I'm not against it, but it's not a healthy choice for daily feeding.
Yeah. So, what we're looking here is we're looking at you know, sort of balance over time. And once you've got your cats on a really healthy diet, we sort of go for the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time your cats are eating really healthy food, and the other 20%, if you're in a hurry or the neighbors are feeding them or something, you can resort to something like, you know, a can of sardines in spring water. But as Timo said, you wouldn't feed it every day. So Baz, in terms of what's a good base diet for them, then that's exactly what the course is here to tell you. And we go through it in great detail, and we've got a whole list of do's and don'ts in the recipes and the ingredients list. So it really lays it out, really, really important. And again, Baz is saying, my cats hate raw meat. Well, you can start, can't you, Timo, by cooking meat first of all as a transition.
That is correct. That is correct. What you can also do is you can process the meat in bigger chunks, and the outside of the meat will be cooked, and it's going to be attractive for your cats. Okay, your cats hate raw meat because they are used to have the free amino acids coming with the cooked meal, and that can change because the bacteria will change, and that will change. But if you want to start it, I have two ways to do it. First, of course, you can boil the meat slightly longer, but slightly shorter than you would do. So the inner part of the meat is still raw. Most of it is still raw, but bigger surface area is still cooked. Second thing is you can use bone broth, and we will explain it. We explain it in the course too. And bone broth is a good way to move the clock direction raw.
Yeah. Now I've got loads and loads of experience of fussy eaters of cats, and it's mainly because just like in our processed food, in the cat's processed food, as Timo was talking about the free amino acids, they put things in there that make it sort of very addictive and appealing to the cats. But just because it's appealing to them does not mean it's good. And anyone who's I come across children that have grown up on processed food and then trying to get them to eat lovely raw or steamed vegetables, it's a hard process. But we do also explain within this course about how, as you start to transition, your cat's microbiome will change, and then they'll start craving healthier food, just like we do. So people have heard me talking about, and I'm going to be talking about later on today with another colleague, I'm just on a 10-day cleanse. And as you heal and replenish your microbiome with the right gut microflora, your taste change and everything becomes easier. So we give lots of advice on transitioning, and we're here to advise on that. So, but I promise you, they absolutely do like it. It's really, really good, and it will make a big difference. There are some people saying that there's meal completers and things. Yes, there are meal completers out there, and some are really good and some aren't. And you've already noticed that your cats are looking and feeling healthier on it. So there's a lot of difference in the qualities of whether you call it toppers or meal completers, aren't there, Timo, on the market?
That is correct. Like everything else, you have very high quality, middle quality, low quality in different price categories. And meal completers are good, and I really like them. I make them myself. Is because it is far more cheaper than buying the highest quality dog or pet food, already manufactured food. So you can make very bad food better food, so to speak, with the completer. But that doesn't change the fact that they are still an exchange for the sake of convenience. They are still not the real deal. It's what I say is you don't feed your children every day with packed food, right? So it's not like you sprinkle something on and now the ramen you bought in the supermarket is something far better. You want to cook for them. You want to prepare something fresh for them.
Yeah, it's so important. So again, you know, we're looking at the 80-20 rule here. And if your cat's got existing health conditions, then you need to be really strict for a few months to get their body back into balance. And then once you've got a healthy cat that's back in balance, you can go for the 80-20 rule, 80% of the time really good and 20% of the time not. Now, I have got 5 cats. Unfortunately, I normally have 6. I'm down to 5 at the moment. 3 quite big dogs, horses, guinea pigs, children, husband, etc. I work full time, and the way that Timo's put these recipes together, I can manage to bulk prepare these at the weekend, and then I freeze them, and it's so easy, and it also saves me money. And whereas I was feeding quite a lot of complete raw, this gives me really peace of mind because I know the ingredients and I know there's nasty synthetics in there. So we've got a comment here from Meow Scott, Timo, about digestive enzymes and probiotics. I've got loads to say on the probiotics, but let's see what Timo says first.
Okay, so digestive enzymes, there are two types. You can the plant-based one or animal-based one, mostly from pig's porcine one. I don't like the porcine one because I think it is very cruel and too cruel, and I mean, that cruelty I don't want to have. But you can have the ones that are from fruits, and you can give these fruits very healthily to your cat, and it will work. And typical mangoes are full of these, papayas are full of these, and pineapples sometimes are full of these, depends on the pineapple you're getting. Probiotics, I want to make a separate course on that, maybe even a live show just about probiotics, because this is a very, very deep topic with a lot of misunderstanding. But I can tell you just one thing: if you use powder probiotic, that or in tablet form or capsule form, whatever, you have a very limited amount of bacteria in there. Very limited. Not important the quality of them, not important the amount of them. It's just you cannot run a system with just 5 or 10 bacteria that is used to have at least 8,000 different types. And if you want to have these 8,000 different types back, you cannot keep dominating with the 5 or 10 types, because there is always a balance between the population there. And if you tip the population always in favor of the 10, then you are making the life of the rest really hard. And we need them all. The cat needs them all. That's why they are there.
So this is so important. And Timo and I will schedule in a live show to talk about this, so you can ask questions, because Timo and I want to do most of ours live because Timo is such a super brain. It's fantastic that we can ask his questions as we go through. But Timo and I have been researching this for years. You have no idea how many conversations we have about this. So between us, we've got a lot of knowledge. So we will do a separate one on probiotics. I love this from Miss Chromesticks, who always says, I always read the small ingredients section, and if there's less than 95% meat and a long list of chemicals I don't recognize, I don't buy it. Spot on.
That's a very healthy approach.
Well done. Well
Yeah,
done.
well done. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for doing this. Now we are preaching to the converted on the people that are on here, and all your fantastic questions. You're already very, very well informed. Please do share this course with people, with other animal friends. We've got one up there for cats now. We've got one up there for dogs. We're working on the horses and the general wellness ones for all of them, with loads more advice. And I promise you, we're doing these courses because both Timo and I, throughout our long careers, we're so sad to see so many preventable problems that cause so much physical and behavioral distress for the animals and the owners that can so easily be put right with some very simple tweaks. So, we're making these courses really, really affordable for everyone, so that you can take that power back yourself. And with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, never has there been a time that's more important to take back that power yourself. Stop trusting these big corporations that aren't necessarily having our best interest at heart, because our cats and our dogs and our guinea pigs and our children, they all depend on us to make the decisions for them, don't they, Timo?
Yeah, that's spot on. So again, I work for companies that produce dog food in different qualities, and I try to advise them for the best I can. But there is always a typical leaning into price. For what price do we produce what, right? So all companies are there to make profit. They are not there to make you happy. They are not there to make your cat healthy. They want to make profit. So once your cat has a kidney problem, they have food for the kidney problem. Once your cat cannot digest fat, then they have a low fat product. But it's all about them selling you the product. So it's not about what your cat is doing, right? I can give you an example. So we were working on horse tendon issues, and then one vet approached me and said, "Why don't we do a test?" I said, what would you need for the test? And he tells me, yeah, well, we take 20 horses, we create on both sides equal tendon problems, and then we heal the half and we have the other half of control. And I said, don't we have already enough horses with tendon problems? Do we really have to create new ones? And this is exactly the problem we are facing now. So we have already enough problems, and we already have them because of the corporate interest. Everyone wants to make money only, and this and that. And I don't want to bore you with this, but the only way to avoid this is to make your own decisions and produce your own food. And if you do that, if something goes wrong, you still know you did your best and you try to fix it. Anytime anything can go wrong because you don't have control over everything. But at least this important part, which is food, you have control of.
Yeah, exactly. Just a couple more questions before we finish off today. And we're really, really appreciative for this fantastic audience we've got that has joined us. John's saying, Timo, that his cats like organic full-fat yogurt.
Yeah, small amounts, perfect treat, no problem. Let it happen. It's low on protein though, it's higher on fat. So try to keep it low and everything's fine. Perfect.
Yeah. And then a final comment from me, that we've got a question here about going into tinctures and essential oils that I mentioned on my last video. Now, tinctures and essential oils, yes, we will definitely go into this, but it's a huge subject. So what I would really recommend, I have put the prices of all the courses on my site down. There is a really good introduction to zoopharmocognosy for dogs course that equally applies to cats, because when I'm teaching the course, I go through the differences because, for example, one example is you never, ever, ever apply essential oils topically to cats. So that course is at a ridiculously low price now, and it's so comprehensive. It's a really, really detailed course. So what I would encourage you to do is go through that course, and then we can cover the more specific questions, because it's using essential oils with animals is not something you can cover in one sort of 1 hour video. It's far more complex than that to make sure you're doing it safely. So absolutely, I will be covering that, but it's really important you empower yourself with the basic knowledge first to make sure, and then we can build on that and talk about different essential oils and tinctures for different sessions. But animals self-medicating using herbs and essential oils is absolutely fantastic. And I've got a dog course on there, a couple of horse courses on there. The dog course will also cover a lot of information for your cats. So absolutely fantastic, everyone. You've had some really, really good questions. Timo, is there anything you want to finish off with before we go?
No, I'm super happy. It was a very good live for me because we had the right questions that let us explain what we want, and very well informed audience. I'm very happy.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Timo and I have very busy schedules, so I do apologize that we didn't do a notification of this live. What we're working on moving forward is scheduling in these lives so you can see what's coming up and what we're going to be talking about. And even though for each session we will have a main subject, of course, we will be answering the questions from those of you that are viewing it as we go along as well, so that we always end up incorporating more. But thank you for so much for joining us today at such short notice. Please do pass this course on to any people. We've got a cat one, a dog one on that need, but because a lot of people think they're doing the best things and they're just being misinformed, and a few simple tweaks can make all the difference. So thank you both. Thanks, Timo.
Thank you very much. Catherine, did you want to give any discount for the group that joined us today?
Oh, what a great idea. So we will put after this chase, if you give me 10 minutes after this live, we will give you a discount code. I'll put it in here. We'll do CAT10, and that will give you 10% off. 10% off discount code. I'm not very quick at typing. Is CAT10, and I will have that on the site within 10 minutes, and you can use it. And then we can please do feel free to pass that code around to any friends and family as well, because We want this to be accessible to everyone. So please do. And we love feedback on the course as well. Thank you for reminding me on that, Timo. And yes, I will be doing more videos from my animals perspective. I will be. I've got a lovely, lovely friend, Andrea, who's going to come and help me take some videos, because it's quite difficult for me to hold the camera safely and all the animals and everything. I ran out of pairs of hands. So I will absolutely be doing that, because it's so important. So thank you all for joining us. And we will be back next week. And Timo and I will get our diaries together so we can give you some notification of the lives. Thank you very much. Bye.